You use it every day, but how does it really work? Let's break down OAuth 2.0 and unlock the secrets to building secure integrations with HubSpot. If you caught our last video, we started building a contact global availability public app card with HubSpot's UI extensions. We successfully set up our HubSpot project, initialized our public app with UI extensions, and got our initial project files uploaded using the HubSpot CLI. We even explored exactly where to find and manage your project and app settings within your HubSpot developer account. Now we're moving on to the next critical step. We're going to use OAuth to securely install our public app and get our extension card up and running directly within a HubSpot portal. But before we can install our app, there's a super important concept that we need to talk about: OAuth 2.0. Now, if you're new to this, don't worry. Hey, I'm Bree, a developer advocate here at HubSpot, and I'm going to break down the most essential things that you as a developer building a public app on HubSpot need to know. At its core, OAuth 2.0 is an industry standard protocol for authorization. In simple terms, this is a secure way for an application like ours to get permission to access a user's data, like their HubSpot contacts, from another service, all without needing their actual login credentials. Think of it as a digital valet. You give the valet a temporary key to park your car, not your entire keyring with your house keys on it. The biggest benefits of OAuth are all about security and trust. It ensures that users never have to share sensitive passwords and allows them to grant very specific and very granular permissions to your app. So if your app only needs to read contact data, the user can grant only that permission and not access to their entire HubSpot portal. So how does this handshake actually happen? Let's walk through a general OAuth authorization workflow. You can visualize this as a series of redirects and exchanges. First up, we have the authorization request. The customer initiates the app installation, whether they are clicking on an install app button or whether it's via a direct link. They're directed to HubSpot's authorization screen. Next, we have user consent. HubSpot displays your app's requested scopes. The user reviews these permissions and grants consent by clicking Install App. Then we have the authorization code grant. HubSpot then directs the user's browser back to your app's pre-configured redirect URI, which is a specific URL on your backend. And this redirect includes a temporary authorization code. Then comes the token exchange. Your app's backend receives this authorization code. It then immediately makes a secure direct request to HubSpot's token endpoint, exchanging the authorization code along with your client ID and client secret for two crucial tokens: an access token and a refresh token. The access token is your app's short-lived key for making API calls to HubSpot on behalf of that portal. And the refresh token is a long-lived key used to automatically get new access tokens when the old one expires, ensuring continuous access without user re-authentication. Now, your backend securely stores these tokens and uses the current access token to make authenticated calls to HubSpot's APIs whenever needed. Now, that might sound like a lot of moving parts, but don't worry. We're going to leverage the HubSpot OAuth Node.js Quickstart repo from GitHub. This repo is designed specifically to help developers like us quickly set up a temporary server that handles this OAuth authorization flow. Now visit this link or the one in the description to find the repo. We're going to clone it locally, and for the sake of this example, I'm going to clone it in the root directory of our existing project. So there are two options for running this repo. One option is to run it locally using Node.js and Yarn. So if you don't already have those installed, now is a great time to do so. Or you can run this project from a Docker container. Today, I'm going to be doing the former. Once cloned, go ahead and install the dependencies that are required with yarn install. Now open up index.js. At the top, you'll see some basic Node.js setup, like requiring Express for our server, but the heart of our HubSpot app configuration is going to start down on line 14. Here, we ensure that we have the correct credentials, the client ID and the client secret from our environment file, and I will show you exactly where to get those in just a few moments. And next, we're defining our scopes. These explicitly tell HubSpot what permissions our app is asking for. And next, we define the redirect URI. This is the exact URL on our local server where HubSpot will send the user's browser back after they've granted authorization. For local development, this is going to be localhost 3000/OAuth callback. This URL must be registered precisely in your public app settings in HubSpot. Now, let's trace the actual OAuth flow through the code, mapping out these steps that we discussed earlier. First up is that authorization request. The flow begins with a user like us today visiting the install route on the local server, and this route constructs the full HubSpot authorization URL. Our server then simply redirects the user's browser to this auth URL, and this is how your app tells HubSpot, hey, this user wants to install me, please get their permission. Next up, we have the user consent. Notice that there is no code block for this second step, and that's because this step takes place entirely in HubSpot. When the user's browser hits HubSpot's authorization page, HubSpot presents the user with a consent screen listing the permissions your app is requesting. Next is receiving the authorization code. So assuming that the user approves, HubSpot redirects the browser back to our redirect URI, which is our OAuth callback route. When this route is hit, we find a code in the rec query parameters. This code is the temporary authorization code that HubSpot has just given us, and it's proof that the user has granted permission. Now we're going to exchange that code for our tokens. If we receive a code, we immediately build an auth code proof object. This object contains the grant type, which is authorization code, our client ID, client secret, redirect URI. We then make a server-to-server post request to HubSpot's token endpoint, and we send this auth code proof in the request body. HubSpot validates our client ID and client secret, ensuring it's really our app requesting the token, and exchanges the temporary authorization code for actual access token and refresh token. And then once we have those two tokens, we can actually use them like we are in the get contact function. Finally, down in the get contact function, you can see that we are using our newly acquired access token. We simply provide it in the authorization header of our request for HubSpot's CRM API. This is what proves to HubSpot that our app has permission to access the data for that specific portal. So while this index.js file simplifies things for the Quickstart, it gives us a fantastic hands-on look at every step of the HubSpot OAuth authorization flow. We just need to complete one more step to make sure that our OAuth is configured for our contact availability public app card. We need to create an environment file to store our secrets and scopes. In the root of the OAuth directory, copy the contents of the example environment file from the README in the OAuth project in GitHub. You can find your client ID and client secret in your developer portal by viewing apps, selecting your current app, and going to the Auth tab. Copy those into your environment file, and then let's take a quick look at the scopes. This template provides us with read and write permissions for contacts and forms, and at this time, for this example, we only need read and write permissions for contacts, so we can remove forms. And it's important to note that when you change permissions within the OAuth workflow, that should also be reflected within the scope array inside of the public app.json inside of your HubSpot project in your UI extensions. Now that OAuth is configured, let's install the public app card that we built in the last video. If you didn't see how we created it, check the link in the description to go back and watch it. Open a terminal inside of the OAuth directory and run yarn start to begin the server. This will open a browser instance with a link to install the app. Click on the link and you'll find the HubSpot screen to select a portal. For this instance, we want to make sure that we are installing it on your developer test portal. Accept the permissions and you should be returned to the OAuth callback screen where you can see the name of a contact and an authorization code. This confirms that our app has been successfully installed on the account. Now let's head over to the developer test account in the browser. This app is configured to work on the contact object, so we're going to open a contact and go to customize record. I'm going to update the default view, and now we have the ability to add cards to our contact record. When you select add card and filter by apps, you'll find the Hello Public App example that we created previously. Now let's add that card, save the changes, and head back to the record view. Now you should see your brand new Hello Public App within the CRM. Now let's update it. Go to your code editor and we're going to open a new terminal instance inside of the contact availability directory where we previously created and uploaded the public app using the HubSpot CLI. Now we're going to run HS project dev to run the project locally. You'll be prompted with which account you want to use to develop locally, and you will be directed to the browser to copy your personal access token from your developer test account. Then, if you have multiple cards inside of this project, you'll be asked which cards you would like to spin up a local environment for. After this workflow, we can return to the browser and refresh to find that we now have the local development badge. So if we open up example card.jsx in our code editor, make a really quick change, and then head back over to the browser, we can see those new reflected changes. Now, after we've made changes, be sure to stop the development server and run HS project upload with the HubSpot CLI to ensure that your changes persist. All right, and that wraps up our jam-packed session. Today, we demystified OAuth 2.0, understanding its core principles and why it's essential for building secure public apps in HubSpot. We then put that knowledge into action by walking through the index.js file of the HubSpot OAuth Node.js Quickstart repo to see how the authorization flow will come to life. We successfully configured our environment, installed our public app card onto a developer test account, and confirmed its visibility within the CRM. And most importantly, you now know how to set up your local developer environment using HS Project Dev to see your extension changes reflected instantly. We're going to set up our Next.js app to create custom API endpoints to handle our availability logic, configure a local proxy for seamless local development with HubSpot.fetch, and finally, we're going to deploy our Next.js backend onto Vercel, completing our architecture. So get ready to bring our UI extension to life with real-time data. For docs, the GitHub repo for this project, and more, be sure to check the description below. To make sure that you're in the know for videos like these and others for HubSpot developers, make sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel and have notifications turned on so you're the first to know when a new video drops. Until next time.
Bye-bye.